you're a busy guy working a full-time job and you got tons of responsibilities, barely any free time, you got a family to take care of, and you desperately want to get in shape and you're tired of seeing that skinny or fat or unattractive version of yourself, I made this video exactly for you. And look, man, I know exactly how that feels. Hating the way you look and not knowing how to fix it, what steps to take, what's right, what's wrong, right? And you don't want to have to sacrifice your existing life and your existing routine to get in great shape. You don't want to train 6 days a week. You don't want to have to cut all your carbs out. You don't want to restructure your whole day. So that's exactly why I want to show you how I help busy 9-to-5 guys lose 10 to 20 pounds of fat and build a physique they're actually proud of. All of which is possible without cutting carbs, living in the gym, or rearranging your entire life. So if you've seen any of my content, you might assume that I've always been into lifting. I've been doing it since a young age. It was just always something that's easy for me, right? In this video, you're gonna learn a little bit about my backstory and how that's not actually true at all. When I was 17, I was super underweight, very unhealthy, very socially anxious, and I just basically hated my life and the man I had turned into. And then we're going to cover the breakthrough, how I stayed consistent in the gym for almost 6 years at this point and built over 35 pounds of muscle. Now, before we dive into how I'm going to help you solve this problem, I want to show you some actual results from some of my clients. So this is Carlos. He's a prime example. Busy sales rep, working 50 to 60 hour weeks with a very unpredictable schedule, right? He gained over 12 pounds of muscle with a very focused routine, right? We edited his routine to make it optimal for him to build a ton of muscle. And we also optimized his nutrition so he could shed weight slowly, but really build up muscle over time. See, he has some flab here, not much definition in the arms. And look, his chest, his arms, his midsection all beefed up, and it's looking way better. And we got Chad. He's a chief software engineer at a very prominent college, right? Like an Ivy League school. He's gained 10 plus pounds of muscle while dropping 5 pounds of fat, all without giving up his favorite foods. You can clearly see here, you can see the capped shoulder there. See all this muscle that he gained, lost some weight. We're still working on getting him the full abs, but yeah. And then we got Caleb here, right? He's a chef. He's in his 20s. He gained 8 pounds of muscle while dropping a whopping 20 pounds. You can see he clearly lost some solid weight here and built some definition in his arms. Now, the key with all these people, they're all very busy. They don't have much free time. The key was we built them a routine that worked with their busy lifestyle. Right? That's what it's all about. Now, I just want to talk real quickly about my results. This was me in 2019. I weighed 105 pounds. And to give you some perspective, I'm 5'9", right? So I'm not short, I'm not tall. Some might call me short. 105 pounds, 18 years old, 5'9". That's very skinny. Like you can see here, see my arm poking through the sleeve there? This was a small shirt, like an adult small shirt. I'm barely filling out half of that sleeve. And my arm was like the same width the whole way up. And you can see it in my face. Like I was insecure as shit. Fast forward 2025, I'm now 180 pounds. Although I just had a family dinner, so maybe like 181 pounds. Much more confident, muscular, ambitious, and willing to take on the world. And I would not have adopted any of those character qualities if it weren't for being consistent in the gym. And I just want to explain who this program is for and who this program is not for. This program is exactly for you if you're working hard, but your body's falling behind, right? You're naturally a hardworking guy, but you're just not getting results in the gym and you're not putting the right amount of dedication into the gym and your nutrition. You have a full-time job and a packed schedule, right? These are the type of clients I like to work with. Why? They deeply struggle with setting aside time to also advance their health, their body, their mental state regarding how they feel on a daily basis. If you're tired of looking soft or skinny, right? If you're tired of having some loose belly fat, you're tired of not filling out your shirts. If you want to feel confident on beach vacations, going to the pool, going to parties, whatever the hell it is, if you want to feel confident with your shirt off. And last but not least, if you're ready to take serious action towards these goals, you're not just talking about it, you're ready to buckle down, listen to the teachings, get the solution, and you're ready to really make this change week by week. Who is this program not for? This program is not for you if you're looking for a get big quick scheme, right? Because aside from taking heaps of steroids, there's no way to get results in a day. Okay, this is a process. You know, it takes weeks, months, years. Number two, if you're not willing to follow a proven plan, I can't tell you the amount of people that have hopped on I give them this very structured plan. I'm holding them super accountable, like everything that I'm required to do to keep people on track, and they don't follow a damn thing. You're not going to get results if you don't follow the plan. Number 3, you make excuses like, I already know what to do. If you already knew what to do, you'd be fit already. Number 4, if you're not in the position to invest in yourself, right? This is a service. It's obviously going to come at some type of investment, right? If you're not in the position to financially invest in your health and your fitness and your confidence in your future, your well-being, then this will also not be for you. And last but not least, if you aren't committed to becoming the best version of yourself mentally, physically, all around, this program is not for you. It's intense, it's hands-on, and the goal is to get you from where you are to your goal as efficiently as possible. Let me move my face out of the way. Look, if you're a busy guy working a full-time job, you absolutely can get in tip-top shape. Even if you've failed before, even if your schedule's totally packed, even if you have no idea where to start, you can make this change. And the truth is, the problem isn't you, right? And what I mean by that is there's so much advice online that does not pertain to you that you've absorbed, and it confuses everybody. Bad advice. You've been told you got to train 5-6 days a week, weigh every gram of food, and cut carbs. You know, people make fitness out to be much more complicated than it really is, right? There's unrealistic expectations. Most fitness advice online isn't always meant for people with careers, stress, and busy lives to manage. Real life's chaotic. There's curveballs. There's daily stress. There's shit that pops up from left field, from right field. You know, a lot of the advice is kind of like assuming you have nothing but free time. And number 3, the wrong focus. It's not about doing more. It's about doing the right things consistently with a system that works for your exact life. Here are some common mistakes that usually sabotage people's progress. And this is from people I've worked with. This has happened to me. Guessing at the gym. Walking in without a plan leads to wasted time and minimal results. It's also very stressful because you don't know if the things you're doing are even leading you to where you want to be. Number 2, program hopping. I see this all the time, right? Changing routines every 2 weeks prevents progressive overload, which we'll talk about later, and muscle adaptation, right? I see so many people coming into the gym doing random stuff with no method, no structure, and they wonder why nothing sticks and why they can't get the hang of things. Nutrition confusion. Eating healthy without understanding calories and macros limits your progress. I can't tell you the amount of people I've talked to that are like, dude, I don't understand why I can't lose weight. I don't understand why I can't gain weight. I'm definitely eating healthy. I'm definitely eating this amount of calories. You know, I'm cutting carbs. I'm fasting during the day. And I'll ask them, are you tracking your calories? Are you tracking your macros? And they're like, no. And I'm like, then how do you know? How do you know? You need the data. And the worst one of all, the one that screws everybody up, is lack of consistency. Starting over repeatedly instead of building sustainable habits. And the reason this mostly happens to people is because their routine's not designed for them. They're trying to do too much too soon. They're trying to go from the shitty habits they have now that have led them to exactly where they are, and all of a sudden trying to live the lifestyle of a golden era bodybuilder, which it doesn't work. You got to build it up slowly. People also fall into the all or nothing trap. They might be making progress. They eat a pizza. They miss a workout. They do something that obviously is not a step up. And then they're like, okay, I screwed everything up. I'm just going to quit. That happens to people all the time, right? And they wonder why they don't get anywhere. So these are 4 very common mistakes. Now, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my story. That way you kind of understand where I'm coming from, kind of where I got my basis of knowledge, how I've been able to help people, and kind of what my mission is with my clients, with the people I work with, and, you know, the message that I want to get across to you guys watching. So all the mistakes I just talked about, I've made all of them. My biggest struggle. I started trying to work out when I was like 14, 15. You know, I'd go to the gym alone because I didn't have friends, right? And I just do bullshit. I didn't know what I was doing. You know, I'd just do abs and shit, and then I'd like not get any results. I'd fall off. Nothing ever really stuck. And I also lied to myself constantly. I would say stuff like, I just need more motivation. I'll start again Monday. I'll figure it out eventually. All these lies that I fed to myself to justify not being able to just buckle down, show up, put in the work that's necessary to get my physique that I wanted. And as the years progressed, my mental health got worse, my habits got worse. Everything I did was pretty negative, right? And when I was 17, I hit what I would consider my version of rock bottom, right? I was at my lowest weight. I was at 105 pounds. I was very addicted to video games. I'd play them 10 to 12 hours a day. I'd barely show up to school. My grades were terrible. I had completely isolated myself from all social interaction, which if you socialize, it takes practice. It's a skill like anything else. And I didn't have the skill. I'd isolate. The worst thing out of all, when I was 4 years old, I got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, which if you're not familiar, I'm not going to give you the whole WebMD, rundown, but it's the genetic version of diabetes. You don't get it from being overweight. It's just in the gene pool. And I didn't take care of it. So when I was 17, my blood sugar was always really high. So I was always dehydrated, anxious, tired, depressed. And I was like developing these complications. I was losing my vision. All these bad things were piling up. And I was just at this very low point. But, as I hit that rock bottom point where I felt like I had nothing, it kind of awakened something in me because I was like, okay, I have nothing to lose. It was the worst I'd ever felt. What ended up happening, I had a conversation with my dad, right? Now, my parents, they're great people. All the stuff that happened to me, all the negativity that I was experiencing at 17, none of it had to do with them. They were doing their best. They're awesome. I have nothing but great things to say about my parents. I was really hard to deal with as a kid. What happened was when I was at that rock bottom point, I had a conversation with my dad, and that's what I would consider my wake-up call. We talked about how I was feeling. I was telling him about my bad health, how I don't socialize, how I could never get a girlfriend, how I nobody liked me, blah, blah, blah. Like all these problems, I just laid them out. And at the end, he gave me some practical solutions. But the thing he said at the end was, why don't you go to the gym that is 2 minutes away from our house and go lift some weights? I was like, maybe. He's like, go do it. He's like, I'm going to pay for a trainer for you. Go as many times as you want, right? Get a coach, find one that you like, one that you resonate with, and start working out. And so I did, right? Because I had nothing to lose. I was like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. So what I did was I walked to that gym, found a trainer, and I said to him, I was like, look, dude, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. I have no desire to work out. None of this stuff is natural to me, but I really want to make a change. I hate the way I look. I hate the way I feel. I need you to push me, keep me consistent, and teach me how to actually get results from this stuff. Like, please just don't let me fall off. I lucked out. I found an amazing coach. He texted me all the time. If I'd ever skip a workout, he's like, okay, you're coming in tomorrow. You have to find time in your schedule to come in tomorrow. I don't give a shit what you say. You're coming in. I started going 3 days a week, right? I did push, pull, legs. Okay. I did that for about a month or two. And then after that month or two, I had built my first muscle. This was my first milestone, right? So growing up, I had the smallest biceps, right? It felt like a piece of dental floss. And I would always feel it and be like, damn, there's nothing there. And when I finally noticed there was like a little lump forming, that was my first semblance of progress. And I was like, okay, I want to keep doing this. This was also in 2020. So COVID hit really hard and all the gyms closed. So I said to my dad, I was like, dude, I got to keep this going. I don't want to fall off of this. It's fun. He gave me 2 20-pound dumbbells. He gave me a little green resistance band, like one of those like old people therapy bands, right? I used them. I was makeshift with it. I'd tie the 220s together with the green band and I'd do some 40-pound rows. I'd do banded tricep pushdowns, banded chest flies, push-ups, like a bunch of goofy shit. But it worked. I got in the best shape I'd ever been in during COVID when I was just locked in my house with nothing to do but work out. I'd work out 7 days a week. Do I have any of my clients work out 7 days a week? Of course not. It's not good for you. It's an easy way to get hurt, but it really worked for me back then. Kind of midway through COVID, I was lifting for a year at this point. I looked in the mirror and I saw not just physical change, but a complete transformation in my confidence. I saw it in my eyes, the way I carried myself. Felt like I was finally becoming the man that I wanted to be. Here, I'll put myself right in the middle here so it looks cool. That did so much more for me than just helping me build a good physique and getting in shape, right? I saw the physical change, right? So I was building muscle, getting stronger, and I saw visible results, which made me feel amazing. Coming from where I was to feeling like that about myself, which I never thought I'd feel, was amazing. I had a mental shift. Confidence replaced my insecurity. I had the knowledge and the firsthand experience to know that I had stuck with this for a year with no time off. I felt great about myself. I wanted to be seen. I didn't want to hide. I didn't want to feel invisible anymore. You know what I mean? And the best thing for me was the fact that getting in great shape like that, it made me want to socialize more. When I started going to the gym again, I had some results, right? I wanted to talk to other people in the gym. I wanted to bullshit with other people. I wanted to meet people. I wanted to be around people because it was such a new feeling. It was so fun. And I started loving being social because I felt confident in my body. Everything improved. My relationships, my school performance, everything improved. Best of all, I became the man that I wanted to be. Right? Not in every capacity. You know, I wasn't making money yet. I wasn't doing any of that stuff yet, but I was fit. And I was the man that I wanted to be at that point in time. As time went on, I started up in college. It didn't feel like it was for me. I never enjoyed it, right? I was doing well in it, but I just left because I was like, I don't like this shit. Got a job at the gym making like 10, 12 bucks an hour, just cleaning up equipment, putting shit back on the racks, making sure everybody's okay. That got me very good at socializing, that job. It got me very social. And people would ask me for help at the gym because they could see I was in shape. And I also had a shirt on that said, fitness professional. I actually still have the shirt right here, fitness professional. And people would ask me for help. And obviously I couldn't actually train them because I wasn't a certified trainer, but I helped them. I gave them advice. I told them what workouts to do, what's good to do, all that good stuff. And it made me realize I had a passion for helping other people. The best I had felt every day was either A, I was working out, or B, I was helping other people get in good shape. That led me to realize that I wanted to get certified as a personal trainer. I paid the $500 for the NASM cert. You know, I got the textbook. I've got a big notebook. I was studying, you know, I was grinding that shit 6 hours a day in my room, just studying the hell out of that. Cause I was like, I want to do this. I want to work with people. This is awesome. This is the first sense of passion I've ever had in my life aside from video games. I started working as a trainer. I liked it a lot. You know, I loved working with these people. I loved helping them get results. I wasn't a very good trainer at first. You know, I made a lot of mistakes. There was a lot of stuff I do so much differently now, but that experience helped me so much. As my passion grew in the industry, I thought to myself, how do I do this on a larger scale? I had such a good impact from the workouts that I had done over the past 2-3 years. I decided probably 4 years into lifting, 5 years into lifting, to start my own online coaching business. Prior to that, I was doing a bunch of research. I was like, I'll start this eventually. But one day I just pulled the trigger, got an LLC, started this thing up, and I launched the program. I started making people fitness programs, nutrition plans, and I worked for free. Right? Because I was too scared to sell it. So I just did it for free for the experience. Over time, I started charging for the services. You know, I just kept getting better. I've now been able to help over 100 people get in great shape, whether it was losing weight, gaining weight, building muscle. I've been able to touch the lives of over 100 people. I think the exact number is probably like 120 something, 130 something, but it's awesome. It's so goddamn cool. That's just kind of how that came to be. Right, I found the passion for lifting and I worked my way through the ranks of the industry. Started just working at the gym, started training at the gym. Then I started training privately. So going to people's houses and training them, to starting my own online coaching business. But the way my business model really came to be was once I started my business, I was still training in person too, because it's not like I just up and left it, right? So I was working 60, 70 hours a week. Like I was working my ass off and I loved it, but it did make it harder to get in shape. It made it harder to keep building muscle, keep my routine going because I didn't have all this free time to work out anymore. And so I was faced with two options: not work out anymore, which I knew wasn't going to happen, or B, model my routine around my new lifestyle, which was very busy and unpredictable. And I was able to successfully do that. Now my workouts are structured. They're at specific times. You know, my meal prepping's at very specific times because it works for my schedule. And what I realized during that process of doing that for myself, like a lot of the people I work with are struggling with a very similar thing, trying to manage a busy, chaotic, unpredictable lifestyle and trying to infuse fitness into that. And I realized I had a good market on my hands there. And the solution that needed to happen was, how do I tailor these plans to people who are super busy, right? And that is exactly who I help now. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the 5 pillars of the 412 coaching system, right? And little random thought, 412, that's the area code for Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, hence the name, right? I'm a big loyal Pittsburgh guy. So here are the 5 pillars that go into getting very busy people with unpredictable lives in killer shape. At the bottom of the pyramid, we got a customized workout plan. Obviously, If you want to get in shape, you got to work out. Right. So the way the customized plan works, it's based around the person's schedule. We analyze their schedule. We analyze when they have free time. We figure out what times of the day they're most likely to work out. And then we customize the plan around that, where their location is, if they're working out at home, if they're working out at the gym. It's very tailored to the specific situation. And those workout programs I check on a daily basis. That way I can make sure these people are progressing. And then there's the personalized nutrition aspect. Meal plans that fit your life and preferences. The meal plan's also based around their hectic, unpredictable schedule. It's based on foods that they like, what their exact goal is, how much time they have to prepare food. And that program also gets checked daily for adherence. The third pillar is data tracking, right? A lot of programs, I've realized, don't have enough data tracking, right? There's just like a guide and then that's it. But the way to get real results is by having important data like weigh-ins, progress pictures, food logs, calorie counting, macro counting, tracking your workouts. How many sets of this exercise did you get? What weight did you use? How do we progress this next week? That's all possible with very hands-on data tracking. Number 4, mindset coaching, right? You could have all the tools in the world, but if you have the wrong mindset, it's very hard to make progress. So something I teach in my weekly one-on-one check-ins with people, and I teach in the group calls, and I teach in the course material. I teach you how to sharpen your mindset, get more disciplined, stop falling victim to self-sabotaging habits, how to actually make this change while juggling a busy lifestyle. And one of the best ways to do that is by sharpening your mind, editing your limiting beliefs. And at the top of the pyramid, which is arguably the most important thing, if you're busy as shit, you got a lot of stuff going on, like there's nobody pressuring you to stay in shape. I don't think you're going to find somebody in your life that cares nearly as much about your fitness goals as you do. That's where the accountability comes in. You can have the custom plan. You can have the custom meal plan. You can have the data tracking. You can have the mindset coaching. Those 4 things alone will get you in amazing shape. It's all customized to you. The way the accountability works, we do frequent check-ins. I stay in touch with my clients daily. Anytime they get a win, anytime they get a setback, anytime anything pops up, I'm very quick to respond, answer, and help these people. And some of the accountability is intertwined with the data tracking, like the progress pictures, the weigh-ins, like tracking the workouts. That all falls into accountability as well. And that's basically a rundown of how the service works. The 5 essential steps to building your dream physique and becoming the best version of yourself. This system allows for a foolproof method to actually getting in shape because every area is covered. Workouts, nutrition, important data, your mindset, and of course the guardrails, which are the accountability coaching. Now let's talk a little bit about why most fitness approaches fail, especially for guys in your position who are busy as hell. 1, you're doing too much too soon. You're overwhelming yourself with drastic changes that lead to burnout and quitting. Have you ever tried to change your whole life in one night? You try to add all these new habits on top of a chaotic, messy, bad habit-filled life. It's impossible. It doesn't last. It's too much to think about way too soon. Number 2, following hated routines. Now, this one doesn't get talked about much. Forcing yourself through workouts you despise, eating a meal plan that you hate. It's not discipline. That's just stupid. You don't want to make the process as uncomfortable as possible. You want to make it as comfortable as possible. And the easiest way to make it as comfortable as possible is for us to design a routine that you actually like. Foods you like, workouts that you find fun, whatever that is. As long as you enjoy it, you're going to stick with it. Number 3, the all or nothing mindset. One bad weekend shouldn't derail your entire program, but it often does. A lot of people fall into this trap. They mess one thing up and they kill the rest of their progress because they have somehow decided that little mistake has ruined everything. And number 4, program hopping. Constantly switching approaches prevents any real progress from taking hold. That's why this program's so crucial, because it's all written out for you. There's nothing you have to guess on. It's all just done for you. And all your focus is getting the workouts in, eating according to the plan, and staying in good communication with me, your coach. That way, when anything does pop up, which it probably will, it gets handled quickly. So why exactly does this system work so well, and how has it helped me and over 100 people get in tip-top shape? Well, 1, structure. It's a clear framework. It eliminates guesswork and decision fatigue. You no longer have that mental burden of, am I doing the right thing? Should I change this? Should I tweak that? Is this wrong? Is this right? It's all just done for you, and you can rely on the expertise of somebody who's been doing this shit for 6 years. Number 2, accountability. Having someone in your corner ensures you follow through even when motivation fades. Motivation does fade. There's going to be times where you want to quit. There's going to be times where you want to give up, where you want to eat off your plan, where you want to skip workouts. You'll have access to me, and I won't let that happen. Number 3, simplicity. Complexity kills consistency, and that's the truth. A lot of this shit, people overcomplicate it way too much. Our approach focuses on what works and not what's trendy. The only thing that matters is that it works for you, you like it, and it gets you to the result you want. That's all that matters. And sustainability at number 4. You don't need to be perfect, just consistent within the system that fits your life. If your plan allows you to be consistent, stay mentally sharp, and get where you need to go, that's the right plan for you. So what can you expect if you do this program, you follow the action steps, and you stick through it the whole way? You can expect to get better habits. You're going to start eating better because you care, not because you're forcing it. And you're actually going to get lasting results. Number 2, you're going to have increased energy. You're going to train harder from excitement and not fear or obligation. And you're just going to have more energetic personality and energetic lifestyle. Number 3, you're going to grow unstoppable confidence, right? You're going to show up differently at work. You're going to show up differently with family. You're going to show up differently in the mirror when you're all alone with nothing but your own thoughts. Right? You are going to have an increased aura of confidence. Number 4, you're going to have lasting change, the kind of transformation that sticks because it's built on real momentum. You're going to have a leaner physique. You're going to have more muscle built. You're going to enjoy being in public, socializing, just feeling seen. It's going to feel a lot better. So it's going to be an entire lifestyle transformation. You're not just going to get big. Everything's going to change. Your habit, your energy, your confidence. You're actually going to be the person who you've always wanted to be. And again, I just want to remind you guys who is going to benefit the most from this program. Busy professionals who are working 40 plus hours weekly with limited time for fitness. People who are time strapped, dealing with responsibilities, stress, and a family. People who are in that skinny fat zone where they don't feel attractive. They have a soft midsection, limited muscle. Their body doesn't match their potential. And most of all, it's for people who are ready for a serious and permanent change, that are done guessing and ready to follow a proven system that has clearly worked for so many people. So I know we covered most of this already, but again, this is what you will get with this program. The customized training protocol, the personalized nutrition plan, the daily accountability from me, the data tracking so we know that you're actually progressing, and we have moving parts that we can keep track of to make sure you're getting where you need to go. And number 5, the private community, access to group coaching calls, right? Aside from our one-on-one call, you'll get group coaching calls and a step-by-step course and access to a community who are all doing the same stuff that you want to do. So if you're ready to finally become a man you're proud of, you're ready to build a body that you're proud of, you're ready to shred 10 to 20 pounds of fat, build 10 to 15 pounds of muscle, just get a nice looking aesthetic physique and a rock solid mindset and rock solid habits, this will allow you to do that. All the while, you won't have to sacrifice your existing life, get rid of the things you love, and you'll still be able to spend time on your career and spend time with your family. If this sounds like something you want to do and you're a man who's ready to make a permanent change, I want you to hit the link below this video and book your free strategy. And in this free strategy call, we're basically just going to discuss where you're at, what's holding you back, and how we'd approach your training and nutrition to get you from your point A to your respective point B. Step 2 is get that personalized, very highly customized plan. Right? If we're a good fit, I'll walk you through how we can work together step by step, and we'll solve it. And number 3 is clarity and direction. Even if we don't end up working together for whatever reason, you're going to walk away with more clarity than you've ever had when it comes to fitness. Look, worst case scenario, you book this free call, we talk for a while, and you get more useful info than you've ever had. Best case scenario, we lock in a plan that actually works super well for you, and over the next 90 days, you completely change who you are, your habits, your mindset, you build a muscular and aesthetic physique, you lose 10 to 20 pounds of body fat, and you finally feel like the man you've been trying to become for so long. Either way, if this spoke to you, don't overthink it, man. Book the call. Let's get working. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I can't wait to work with you and help you win and achieve the results that myself and over 100 other people have received from this style of coaching. Have a great rest of your day.